Hello, my name is Stuart. I'm the unrepentant atheist, and welcome to my latest video. So today's topic is basically a follow-up video on my previous release, which covered various issues connected with Matt Dillahunty's departure from the ACA, which I think he announced approximately 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I made the video. I had quite a lot of response. I had far more views than I normally get. And I must say to you straight away that I didn't particularly make the video to get thousands of views, because the average number of views that my videos usually gets is about 150 to 200. I'm just a small, fairly insignificant channel, and I did not make the video to get a ton of views. I made it just to express my opinion, and it just happened that it was fairly topical and YouTube gave it lots of exposure. But I've only got 6,000 views on this video, and I did watch another similar video to my own, which was a fairly insignificant atheist who actually made videos mainly on lots of other things, mainly about children's toys and that type of thing. And he happened to make a video about Matt leaving the ACA. And all he said was, Matt's been wonderful, Matt's been fantastic. He's the top atheist debater out there. I'm really sad that he's leaving, and oh well, let's see what he's going to do. Bye. And he got 19,000 views for that. So, don't, for those of you out there who've said, oh, Stuart, you've only made this video to piggyback on top of Matt Dillahunty's name. No, I enjoy expressing my opinion. Most of the time I get very few views, and occasionally I, get a video that gets lots of views. Let's move on. So disclaimer, there will be a lot of commentary in this video. You may not like it. If you don't like speculation, go somewhere else. Go and watch the news, go and do something else. If you don't want to hear any of my speculation, just click away, go away from the video, and go and watch your own thing. So somebody left a comment on my video. I'll just read it out. Why should anyone care about your speculations on Matt Dillahunty's situation with the ACA? My reply, no reason at all. Still, I'm getting lots of likes and new subscribers from this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And that's what it is, really. If you don't like it, go away. For those of you that think that this is none of my business, go away, go somewhere else. Don't leave worthless comments on my channel. Either you engage with me properly or just go somewhere else. Okay, so let's move on, having said that. So I've been watching carefully what Matt's been doing since he left the ACA, and it does look to me like he's doing more with The Line, which is a channel which I really liked, and I am a subscriber, and it's good to see him on it. So he put out a video on Sunday afternoon, I think more or less at the same time as the Atheist Experience, and I thought it was quite a good show. There were some good calls. And I also, by the way, watched most of the Atheist Experience, obviously on a recording the next day. And I was a little bit disappointed, really. I think there was only one theist caller, and there were only about 5 calls in total. Now, the reason for that is, as we know, when Matt speaks to people the brilliant thing that I like about Matt is he knows what interests people. And if a rambler comes on, maybe somebody like me, if a rambler comes on and is going absolutely nowhere and boring people with personal testimony, he soon shuts it down and he moves on to the next caller. And for that reason, usually when Matt is on, there are lots of callers, like, 10 callers or something like that. But on Sunday, we only had 5 callers, and they were letting the callers go on way, way too long. There was nothing really that I found of much interest, unfortunately. I think it was 4 atheist callers and 1 theist caller, perhaps. And I'm afraid I didn't really enjoy the show. I didn't watch all of it. But what I did find interesting is that as of now, bearing in mind that both shows, The Line and the Atheist Experience, were put out at the same time, is that to date, The Line has got 36,000 views, and the Atheist Experience has got 28,000. So The Line is actually getting, 25% more views than the Atheist Experience, which I think is quite significant. That's a very low number of views for the Atheist Experience after 2 days. It would usually be more like 40,000, 45, 50,000. I also noticed that the week that Matt left the ACA, they had their first drop in subscriptions in many, many years. They actually lost 3,000 subscribers in 1 week. I've got a site which I use to analyze YouTube videos to see how many views they're getting and that kind of thing, when I feel that it's appropriate or I'm interested. For example, I was interested to see how much money Jordan Peterson's making out of his channel. And he's making something like $500,000 a year or something like that. But, all right, you can say that's none of my business. But I reject that. These people are all in the public domain. And we're the ones that are clicking on their ads. No, it is I can make it my business. As I say, if you don't think it's my business, just go away and watch somebody else's video. So yeah, it looks like the line is doing better than the Atheist Experience, which is quite a big surprise, and it backs up my view, which I stated last week, that more or less there's a downward trend in atheist content, and in particular, the Atheist Experience is on a bit of a downward trajectory. They're trying to compensate for this by putting out lots of little snippets. They cut a video into, for example, they had 5 calls. They will cut that video into 5 different parts to boost the number of views that they get. That's fair enough. That's quite understandable. I don't blame them for that, but it's a good way for them of compensating for the fact that their mainstream show is not really pulling in that many viewers. So yeah, I also noticed with Matt that he appeared on another show. What's it called? I'm just looking at my notes here. Modern Day Debate channel, which I've watched a few shows, and he's debating on should gambling be banned. That sounds interesting. It also sounds like Matt is branching out into other areas, which I'll be very interested to see that particular show. I haven't watched it yet, but I would be interested. I mean, my view is, just briefly, I don't think gambling should be banned. Gambling would go on underground if it was banned, and I think banning gambling is a bad idea. Obviously, just because there are people who can't control their gambling habit. I don't think gambling should be banned. I don't think smoking should be banned. But obviously, I believe that smoking should be controlled. And gambling is also controlled to an extent. But I'll be interested to see what the arguments are. Maybe I'll change my mind as a result of watching the program. But my guess is with Matt that he will be arguing against gambling being banned. So that's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, just looking at the views on that. That one has had, in the first 24 hours, 7,000 views. It's not too bad, but again, coming back to what I was saying in my first video, that the atheist content is a niche market, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's growing, and that what I'm looking at is the big shows like the Atheist Experience, Talk Heathen, and some of these other smaller atheist channels like Paulogia. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong channels, and I'm concluding incorrectly that interest in atheist content is actually on its way down. Maybe that's not the case. If you've got any ideas about that, or opinions, or from observations, I would be very interested for you to leave a comment. I hope it's not true, in fact, because I still enjoy, even though I'm familiar with all the arguments, etc., I still very much enjoy listening to it, watching the debates, and I'm still interested in it because there's always something new. There's always a new there's always a new theist that comes along with sometimes a new angle, or there are surprises, like a theist will come on and by the end of the call they will be questioning their own faith. I know that doesn't happen often, but it does occasionally, and it's worth watching a lot of these. And I enjoy a lot of the personalities. I enjoy Matt's personality. I know a lot of you think, and a lot of you said in the comments, that one of the reasons that things have been going downhill a bit is that he's a bit too kind of condescending and aggressive. Some of you have said that he's a bully. And, there's a small amount of truth in all of that. And I won't make any excuses for him, but all I can say is that I enjoy the content that he creates. And what he's looking for, of course, is honest debate, honest arguments, no dancing around. And I've seen him. I've really enjoyed it when he's engaged with Christians who've come on and they've just said, "Well, actually, I've just got faith. I've had personal experience, etc. I know there's no real evidence, and but I'm still going to believe more or less whatever you say." And I've noticed he deals very kindly with Christians like that. But those who will dance around and deny that slavery is condoned in the Old Testament, for example, I've noticed he does get very angry because he's heard so much of this, and actually it's quite a big issue because slavery still goes on in the world. So moving on to another criticism, which some of you have noticed. Of course, in my video, I started off last week saying, Matt's left ACA, etc., etc. And then I went on very quickly to talk about monetization and everything. And a lot of you said, well, it's not really relevant because Matt never was making money from the ACA. And it's irrelevant. And you're implying that he's going to lose out financially from his severing connection with the ACA. And I thought about that. Criticism has got some justification. I probably should have articulated myself better. If you go and listen to Matt's video, the one he made on his own channel, where he says why I left the ACA, and he gives the whole backstory. If you listen carefully, you will notice where he talks about monetization. And he says specifically he did not even monetize his channel until last June when all of this blew up. Now, I understand that Matt has never received a penny from the ACA. So what I don't understand is why he specifically monetized his channel when all of this blew up. In other words, when things were getting a bit prickly with the ACA management, with the board, however they run things, he then decided to monetize his channel. So given that Matt talked about monetization, he talked about the money side of things in connection with him getting, obviously, with some of the hostility that was going on at the ACA that he felt. I did not think it would be irrelevant to talk about monetization and the money side of things, given that he brought it up in his own video. So for those of you who have said it's irrelevant, no, money, let's just get one thing clear. Money is never irrelevant on any subject. Money is always relevant. And if you don't agree with me on that, then okay, you're entitled to your opinion. But money is always relevant, particularly with people who are in the public eye. And Matt actually brought up monetization. He connected it with his time at the ACA and the fact that things were going wrong at the ACA. And that is when he monetized. Why he did, I can only speculate on one thing, and that is that previously he'd said that he didn't monetize because he didn't want people saying, well, Matt's just in it for the money, right? I understand that. So what made him change his mind when things were getting prickly at the ACA? Maybe he thought, I'm having to put up with all of this rubbish and I'm not even getting money from these people. And then he might have well thought, well, screw it. I'm going to monetize my own channel and at least get some return for all the flack that I'm taking. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it isn't. That's just that's me, trying to put the pieces of the jigsaw together. And maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but it seems to me not incredibly implausible, especially given the fact that Matt actually drew that, made that connection, but he didn't justify it. He didn't explain why. And so that's why I talked about the money side of things in my video. I've had very few of you actually commenting on that. 1, 2, I think 3 criticized me for it, but that was my reason. And if you still think I've got bad reasons for talking about monetization and the fact that Matt's general financial situation with what he's doing in terms of his atheist content, if you still think I was unjustified in putting the two together, well, that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. But I've explained it now. So somebody else somebody else pointed out, and I'm very grateful that Matt does have other avenues of income, because I think that I incorrectly said, and I will admit to my mistakes if I make them. I incorrectly said in my video that Matt hasn't got any other avenue for making money, just sort of his debates and his atheist content. That's untrue. I apologize for that. And it seems to me that I've been informed that he's going into the business of breeding snakes, reptiles, which I think is an absolutely fantastic idea. I can't stand snakes, by the way, and I can't stand reptiles. So I'm a kind of, fluffy toy poodle kind of, that's the kind of pet that I like. Something I can put on my lap and pat, and it will look up to me with loving eyes. Not everybody's the same, and some people like snakes. That's fair enough. Maybe Matt's going to teach one of them to speak, and then a Christian will say, "You see, snakes can talk." Well, I don't know, but so it seems to me that he's gone into the snake breeding business with his girlfriend Arden, and I think he could make really good money out of that, because I understand those snakes sell for really big money, like $1,000, $2,000. So I think he could do really well out of it. Of course, he's also a magician. I don't know whether he's a professional or an amateur, but I believe he does shows, so he can also make money out of that. And yeah, I agree with you. Those of you who said he will do well, he'll be fine. And bearing in mind that he was never making any not a cent from the ACA anyway, there's no doubt that he will be fine. He's previously said that he's bad with money in the past. I don't know whether that's changed. Hopefully it has changed, and hopefully he will do well. And as I said to somebody, that he deserves to do well on monetization, but the cruel reality is that with atheist content, because the number of views is in like the tens of thousands, it's not really worth a lot of money. Until you've got videos that have got like 500,000, a million views, you're not going to really make serious money out of YouTube. So what else have we got? Oh yes, Arden. So what I understand why all this blew up, I don't know if you remember Ortangelo. There are certain legendary callers on the Atheist Experience. Mark from the Austin Stone Church is one of them. He's one of my favorites. I miss him, actually. Where is he? Why doesn't he come back? Could do with him, really. Even if he really is an atheist, which I severely doubt, if he could come back and pretend to be a theist, I loved his calls. So yeah, there was Mark. There were some others. There was Bill, the creationist, and there was Seth and Jonathan. Is it Jonathan McClatchy? Think so, yeah. He's been on a few times. So there have been some legendary callers, and Ortangelo is a caller who's been on to Talk Heathen many times, and he's also called into the Atheist Experience. I can't remember what his arguments are, actually, but I know that the hosts usually get very frustrated with him, and they usually end up hanging up on him. I understand that he did something naughty with. He found a picture of. I understand that Arden is a transsexual. I didn't know that. So, for the people that have been telling me that in the comments, thank you. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not a transphobe. I'm not a homophobe. So, obviously, Matt's taste is Matt's taste, and I wish them well. But I did not know that Arden was a transsexual. But it seems, from what I've read in various sources, that Ortangelo found a pre-op picture of Arden and posted it somewhere on Twitter or something like that. And I believe he made some comments to the effect that, he himself is a transphobe, and he was banned from both shows. But one of the call screeners didn't pick up on him and mistakenly let him through, and he managed to get through. This upset, I understand, or it was perceived that the trans community or the LGBT community, it was perceived that they were upset and offended by this. And I understand that Matt wanted an apology to be announced on one of the shows, just briefly. And at first this was denied. They weren't going to do this. They were going to post it on a blog somewhere, or the AXP website, ACA website, the apology. And then apparently they changed their minds and they decided to announce it not only on the Atheist Experience, but also on Talk Heathen, and give it a lot more time than Matt had asked for. They never informed Matt about this, and that's where the whole the whole backstory. I wish I'd known more when I made my first video, but I didn't. And anyway, so that is the story, and that's how it all happened. It seems ludicrous, really. A lot of the best hosts have been lost from the Atheist Experience at the end of the day because of LGBT issues. Tracy, Jen, two absolute legends, which I adored listening to them. They were so strong. So they've gone. Matt's gone now. I mean, three have gone on the same issue, and obviously they felt very strongly about it. And I've got nothing more to say about that. So that's about it, really. I hope that I've made everything clear. Thank you to everybody who subscribed from my video. I've had my previous video, I've had 100 new subscribers. So welcome. And thank you for those who liked it. And thank you also to those of you who disagree with me, and to those of you who have critiqued me. And in particular, a big thank you to those of you who are still watching now, nearly at the end of a 23-minute video, because I can tell you that only 10% of people who start watching a video of this length will get to the end of it. And I don't blame them for dropping off. They perceive that I'm rambling on, and they've listened, and that's enough for them. But so thank you. If you're still with me, thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. That's all for now. Look forward to catching up with you again soon. Bye.